The Wakefield High School boys soccer team will be competing for the state championship, weather permitting, on Wednesday night. As you view this program, again, weather permitting, that game has been completed. It's been a wonderful season, and joining me on Speaking with the Principal for this program are 3 of the 4 Wakefield High School boys soccer captains. Hi, I'm Ron Strumensky, principal of Wakefield Memorial High School, and it's good to have you with us once again. These 3 gentlemen joining me in the studio today have been highly instrumental in the success of Wakefield High School's 18-3 and 2 soccer team this year. Only once before in the history of the high school has the state championship belonged to Wakefield. As we welcome in to our show, beginning to my far right, Evan Anderson. Evan, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you here. Evan is a senior. Sean Scully, another senior, and Greg Erickson. Congratulations to all 3 of you, regardless of the outcome. And my God, it seems like we're never going to get this game in, Evan. What kind of an effect has the postponement had on the team?
Well, it's been a little frustrating, you know, because you get mentally prepared for the game, and then it gets canceled, and it keeps happening and happening. But we're really looking forward to play right now, and I think we're ready. You know, we're really just looking forward to it mainly. It's been a little tough, but it's also given us another week to be together and to practice together. So it's been fun.
Sean, how long have you been playing soccer? When did you start your soccer career?
We started, like, the town leagues probably around 6 years old. Most of us, most of the kids on the team, they all started around 6 years old. And ever since, this has been somewhat of a goal for us to make it this far.
Has the group actually been together that long and been playing together, maybe on separate teams, but in similar leagues? Greg, have you been a part of it that long also?
Yeah, we all started out young, but we've been playing together since we were 10 years old with the traveling teams. And then you move up to the other age groups, and now we're here.
Greg, what was the outlook at the beginning of the year? Did you feel as a team that you had the potential to go this far?
Oh, I knew right away that we did. Just looking at the guys that we had coming back, we knew we had a strong core. And if we just had some younger guys fill in, we could definitely make it, and that's what happened.
You watch a soccer game, and I'm always amazed, Evan. My youngest son was a goalie in high school soccer and conditioning. I mean, I watch you fellows out there, especially, you know, people who are running that field. And what do you have to do to get into the kind of shape you need to be in to play soccer, Evan?
Well, you really have to start a couple months before. You can't just come into the season and hope to be in shape. You really have to prepare during the summer and work hard, and really you just have to be able to run and run and run. That's really been one of the things that's helped us have success in the tournaments.
I've always had the feeling that the best conditioned team, Sean, is probably the team that has the edge. Is that true?
Yeah, if you can outlast your opponent on the field, wear them out, it's probably you have the best chance at defeating them. It comes down to who can last the longest on the field. Because if some teams don't go too deep onto their bench, then they end up tired. And with such a strong team we've had this year, we've had a lot of depth, and we could go to our bench, and the kids are prepared when they come in, and they've all been prepared earlier on in the season with a lot of training, a lot of running, a lot of conditioning. So we've been very successful with that.
Greg, tell me a little bit about the role of the captains. There is a 4th captain that isn't with us, Eric Loritz, but basically, what is your role as a captain of the soccer team? What does Coach expect of you?
Well, basically, he wants us to lead the team. Everyone should be a leader, but with us, we lead them through exercises, and they kind of look up to us, so, you know, to lead them through the games. But, I mean, everyone has to step up big. It's not just us, it's everyone.
Evan, what was the turning point in the season as you reflect on, what did I say, 18-3 and 2, was I right? 23 games. At what point, what was the turning point as far as you were concerned? What sort of really set you, even though you thought you had the potential, that particular game is memorable?
I'd have to say the first tournament game was actually the turning point in the season. Previous to that, we lost. Well, we had a 3-game stretch where we'd had problems towards the end of the season, and I think, you know, maybe some people were questioning us, but we came back and we came back strong. We played together. We kind of came together as a tournament, and I'd say that was the turning point. We rebounded well from some tough times. Since then, we've kept that momentum going.
Momentum is a big thing, Sean, in any sport. And when we had that sort of lull, people got worried. I'm sure you did. Often we hear about teams peaking at the right time. And when you have a lull like that, is it hard to come back?
It almost is a benefit to our team to have almost like a reality check, knowing that we have to still work hard to move back up to that higher level and compete at that higher level. So it was almost like we had that was a good point in our season, because of all those tough times. It kind of made us realize that we're going to have to come together more. We're going to have to step it up a little bit more if we're going to go far into the tournament.
Greg, let's talk a little bit about defense. It seems as though the goals against average of the team and our goalie, Mr. Cousins, what have we given up? One goal?
Two
in the
tournament
entire
goals.
tournament?
Two.
That's incredible. What do we attribute that to?
Well, obviously defense steps it up, but I mean it's not just the defense. We have midfielders coming back like Evan, running up and down the whole field, just marking up a man. When the offense comes down, that's our job to stop them. Our offense has to score the goals. We have to keep the goals out. So I mean that's what we work hard in doing. We're pretty successful.
I thought in the Lincoln-Sudbury game, Evan, certainly in that first half, we played most of the game in their end.
Yeah.
How come?
We were really clicking that day. The team was playing really well together. The ball was bouncing our way. We were on somewhat of a high because the stands were packed. It was the North Final, and something that we've all been dreaming about for a long time. So our adrenaline was really pumping, and things just went really well for us that day.
What about the field conditions, Sean, at Woburn, at Connolly Field? I know when I got there and saw the condition of the field, I was a little worried about the mud holes in front of both goals. What kind of an effect did that have on the play?
Well, during the Lincoln-Sudbury game, the first game that we had at Woburn High during the tournament, the ground was a little soft in those areas around the 18-yard line. It made it difficult for the defense. Our defense, when we were trying to get the ball out, our defense would lose their footing, slip, and it caused a few problems. The offense, it really didn't affect us during that game because we always seemed to move it out to the outside. Never went through the middle to those soft spots in the mud.
Was that by design, or was it because of the field condition? Did it change your strategy?
I don't know if it changed our strategy. We just seemed to play very well with the wings that game. We just moved it out to the outside better than we had all year, dominating the offense. Their defense just couldn't compete. We just moved the ball around. They were running after the ball, and we almost used that mud to our advantage because they seemed to slip as they were trying to contest the balls.
Well, there'll be no mud at Worcester Polytechnic Institute because it's AstroTurf. We've not played a game on AstroTurf all year, Greg.
No, we haven't.
What about the change? I know you've had an opportunity to do some practicing on AstroTurf in preparation. What kinds of differences is Coach talking to you about playing? And hopefully Worcester Polytech is going to be in shape to play on. And assuming that it is, what kinds of things do you have to adapt to playing on AstroTurf versus on turf?
Well, first of all, we have to make better passes. On grass, you're allowed a few feet to each side to be able to get there, but the ground is much faster on AstroTurf. We also have to play the bounce. You seem to get at least a 6 or 7 foot bounce every time the ball hits the ground on the turf. So we have to take that into effect, but we have to move outside still. We have to bring the balls out and then bring them back in.
Evan, you had a chance from your position. Is it going to change what you have to do? Did you notice anything in the practice that you're going to have to adapt to?
Not really. The game's a lot faster. It's a lot faster paced. So we're going to have to, as a team, we're going to have to react to that. We're going to have to, do a little better job marking up, and we're also going to have to make sure that our passes are a lot better, like Greg said, because the margin of error on turf is just much smaller. The ball moves so fast that if it's not a perfect pass, it's going to go right by him. So basically, I mean, there's not much you can do. We're just looking to go out and play our game.
Sean, what do we know about East Long Meadow? Do we know anything about their season, their strengths and weaknesses?
We were able to find a few bits of information from a person that we know out in Western Massachusetts. All we know is they have a strong center halfback who is basically their whole offense. If you stop him, you stop their whole attack, and they only have a solid sweeper on their team who's pretty fast and can dribble pretty well. So we have a few main key points that we have to shut down on their team. Hopefully, if we contain those two very skilled players, we'll be able to control their whole team.
For our viewers who don't know what a sweeper is, tell them.
Sweeper would be the last man back on defense before the goalie. It's usually a fullback who hangs behind the last line of defense.
One of the things that I can recall reading about East Long Meadow is that they've never trailed in any postseason games, meaning that they've gotten the jump on their opponents and they've never been behind. How important, Eric, is it, Greg, is it to get that first goal?
Oh, it's always important. That's the most important thing in any game that you play. We don't know how they're going to react if they go down 1-0. So basically...
We'd love to see it, though.
Oh, yeah.
We'd like to have the opportunity to view that kind of a situation.
So if it does come down to that, we don't know if they'll be able to bounce back. That might be a weakness for them, since they haven't had to do it yet.
And, I haven't seen their record, Evan. What is their record? Do we know?
I believe 19-1-3, I believe. I could be wrong.
So it's comparable to our, which we would expect for any team to get that far. Let's talk about the one thing that seems to be very dismaying, at least to us in the stands when we watch a soccer game. It's very frustrating. Hockey and soccer have always been very frustrating because you get so close. It's a game of inches. You hit the post. Is the whole idea of the shootout. I mean, we saw our girls' team go down in a shootout. What kind of preparations? Can you make preparations? Can you practice for that kind of thing? Both of you were successful in the shootout that we experienced. Does the team practice that more emphatically at this time? Sean, it's a reality that you don't expect a lot of goals to be scored in a game, in a tournament game. How do you prepare? Do you actually spend a lot of time doing shootouts?
We did. Coach would pick a few of his players to practice among the Evan and I, and Greg did a few, just to be prepared in case that came upon us. We just kept practicing different situations. We'd have our goalie come out at different speeds to prepare for, because we did not know what the other goalies would react to that situation. Luckily, the championship game, there's no shootouts at the end. They would have a double overtime, and then after the championship game, there'll be co-champions. So that will be the last time we face that, hopefully.
So there'll be no shootout in this game.
No.
So I didn't realize that. So we'll play 2 10-minute overtimes, and if it's tied at the end of that time, that's it.
Co-champions, yeah.
And in fact, if the games aren't in, I don't know if you know this, but if the games aren't played by November 22nd, there will be no game, and both teams will be declared co-champions. Of course, there is a backup at Boston University on Friday, the 21st. If, in fact, the game is not played on Wednesday, the game would be at 7:30 at Nickerson Field at Boston University, also AstroTurf. And there's probably a better chance that field will be okay by Friday, looking at the forecast. But we hope that, and again, you're not going to see this until after the game is played at WPI. We hope lots of you were able to get out there to support the team. How important is that, to have people in the stands?
Well, that's always important. If it is actually played at WPI, we will get a good crowd with the buses that we have going out. But if it is actually canceled, and we play at BU, it'll kind of be like a home game because of, closer to home. And, well, either way, we still have to play the game. The crowd's not going to do it. I mean, they give us great support, but we have to get the job done.
Surprised about the great goaltending Mr. Custance has given us, Evan, this year? As a sophomore?
Danny has just been phenomenal. He's really carried us on his back for a lot of the season. Coming into the season, we really didn't know what to expect because he had no varsity experience. He came in, he's been great, he's been cool under pressure, and he's just risen to the occasion time and time again. He's a big reason why we're still playing right now. So, I mean, he's just done a great job.
Well, gentlemen, I wish you the best of luck, regardless of how this game turns out. I want you to know that the faculty and staff, and I know the people of Wakefield are awfully proud of your performance this year. It's been a highly successful season. We're Eastern Mass champions. Good luck. Go get them
Thank you.
tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us. We hope that by the time you see this, we are in fact state champions, but Eastern Mass champions, boy oh boy, what an accomplishment. We'll see you again with another edition very soon of Speaking with the Principal.